Human history has long been shaped by the language of color. Societies have categorized people as brown, yellow, white, or black, turning complex human identities into simplified labels. These labels have been used to divide, rank, and separate people, often producing systems of privilege, discrimination, and misunderstanding. Yet beneath these constructed categories lies a deeper and more fundamental truth. Every person belongs to the same human family. The statement, "I am not brown, I am not yellow, I am not white, and I am not black. Instead, I am human," challenges the idea that skin color defines identity. It calls us to look beyond the superficial boundaries created by society and to rediscover the shared essence of humanity. This video explores the origins of racial color labels, their social and psychological consequences, and the transformative power of embracing a universal human identity. The invention of color categories. The classification of people by color is a relatively recent development in human history. For thousands of years, people identified themselves primarily by tribe, language, culture, or region, rather than by skin color. The rigid racial color system, developed largely during the age of colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade. European colonial powers created racial hierarchies to justify conquest, slavery, and economic exploitation. By labeling groups of people according to color, white, black, yellow, and brown, they produced a simplified structure that placed some groups at the top and others at the bottom. These categories were not based on scientific truth but on social and political interests. Modern genetics has confirmed that the concept of race has little biological foundation. Human beings share more than 99.9% of the same genetic material. The small variations in skin pigmentation that exist are adaptations to different levels of sunlight across geographic regions. They do not represent separate human types or hierarchies of value. Thus, the colors used to define humanity are not natural divisions, but social inventions. When people say, "I am black," "I am white," or "I am brown," they often refer not only to skin color, but also to history, culture, and shared experiences. While these cultural realities are meaningful, the color labels themselves can create psychological boundaries that obscure our deeper unity. Color identity can unconsciously shape how individuals see themselves and others. It may lead people to internalize ideas about superiority or inferiority, belonging or exclusion. When societies repeatedly emphasize color differences, individuals may begin to believe that these differences define the essence of a person. Yet color is only a thin layer of pigment in the skin. It does not determine intelligence, morality, creativity, compassion, or spiritual potential. The human heart, mind, and spirit cannot be measured by color. To say, "I am human," is to refuse the reduction of identity to skin color. It is to affirm that what truly defines a person lies deeper than appearance. Throughout history, color labels have shaped systems of discrimination and conflict. Racism, segregation, colonial domination, and ethnic violence have often been justified through the belief that humanity is divided into fundamentally different color groups. When people are categorized by color, they may be treated as representatives of a group rather than as individuals. This can lead to stereotyping, prejudice, and dehumanization. Entire communities may be judged based on assumptions tied to their supposed racial identity. Color-based thinking has also influenced economic inequality, educational opportunity, political representation, and access to justice in many societies. The consequences of these divisions can persist for generations. However, recognizing the artificial nature of color categories opens the possibility of transformation. If race is largely a social construct rather than a biological reality, then the divisions built upon it can also be dismantled. Scientific research in genetics, anthropology, and evolutionary biology reveals a powerful truth. Humanity is a single species with a common origin. All modern humans trace their ancestry back to early populations in Africa tens of thousands of years ago. As human groups migrated across the planet, they adapted to different climates and environments. These adaptations produced variations in skin tone, hair texture, and facial features. Yet these differences are superficial compared to the overwhelming similarities that unite all people. Two individuals from different continents may be genetically more similar than two individuals from the same region. This reality undermines the notion that color categories represent distinct biological groups. From a scientific perspective, humanity is one family with many expressions, not separate races competing for superiority. Beyond biology, many spiritual traditions affirm the fundamental unity of humanity. Philosophers, prophets, and sages across cultures have taught that all people share a common origin and destiny. The idea that every human being possesses inherent dignity is central to many ethical and spiritual teachings. Whether expressed as the image of God, the divine spark within, or the universal human spirit, this principle recognizes that each person carries a sacred worth that transcends outward differences. To identify first as human is therefore not merely a social statement, but also a spiritual affirmation. It recognizes that beneath our cultural and physical diversity lies a shared essence that connects us all. This perspective invites empathy, compassion, and solidarity across the boundaries that societies often emphasize. Rejecting color labels does not mean ignoring history or cultural heritage. Cultural traditions, languages, and historical experiences remain important parts of human identity. What it means is refusing to allow skin color to determine the value or destiny of a person. Moving from color identity to human identity involves a shift in consciousness. It requires individuals and societies to see people as unique human beings rather than representatives of racial categories. Education, dialogue, and cross-cultural relationships can play a crucial role in fostering the shift. When people encounter one another as individuals, with stories, dreams, fears, and hopes, they begin to recognize the humanity that transcends color. Art, literature, philosophy, and spiritual reflection can also help reshape our understanding of identity, emphasizing the shared human journey rather than the divisions imposed by history. The challenges of the modern world, climate change, global inequality, technological transformation, and political conflict, cannot be solved by isolated groups divided by color. These challenges require cooperation across cultures and nations. Recognizing our common humanity is therefore not only a moral imperative, but also a practical necessity. A world that sees itself as a single human family is better equipped to address global problems and create a more just and peaceful society. The vision of humanity beyond color does not erase diversity. Instead, it celebrates diversity as the many expressions of one human species. Just as different languages enrich human culture, variations in appearance reflect the beauty of human adaptation and creativity. In conclusion, the statement, "I am not brown, I am not yellow, I am not white, and I am not black. Instead, I am human," invites a profound rethinking of identity. It challenges the historical systems that have reduced people to color categories and reminds us that the essence of a person cannot be captured by pigment. Human beings share a common origin, a shared biology, and a universal capacity for thought, creativity, compassion, and spiritual reflection. Beneath the surface differences that societies emphasize lies a deeper unity that binds all people together. To affirm our humanity above color is to reject the divisions that have shaped so much of history. It is to recognize that every person, regardless of appearance, belongs to the same human family. When we learn to see one another not as colors, but as humans, we take a step toward a world defined not by separation, but by dignity, empathy, and shared destiny. Moving beyond racial categorization does not require ignoring cultural differences or denying historical or contemporary inequalities. Instead, it involves placing our shared humanity at the center of identity while still addressing the structural legacy of racial categorization. This path requires both individual transformation and systemic change, philosophical reflection, and practical action. Thank you for your support. Please share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe for more insights on the transformation of consciousness.